So, Square Enix has been talking a big game that this is going to be the highest selling superhero video game of all time and will be more successful than the Batman Arkham games and Spider-Man PS4. Is that the case? We'll find out in this video. So this past weekend, I played Marvel's Avengers both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on the PS4 exclusive beta weekend, and I wanted to give my thoughts on the game so far. My ultimate opinion on the game is that it is underwhelming so far, but it does show promise and will be probably a really good game by the end of its life cycle. I look at a game like Sea of Thieves, Rainbow Six Siege. These other games were kind of flops at launch. There wasn't a lot of content, wasn't a lot going on, pretty empty. And then as time went on, these games became thriving and robust online, worlds with tons of players. That was certainly the case for both Rainbow Six Siege and Sea of Thieves, but it took lots of free content, lots of investment from the studio. So right now the game is kind of underwhelming, but it can be a fantastic game with the proper investment from the studio, which I'm confident they will do. So let me talk about what I've experienced so far. So at first, I really enjoyed the A-Day mission. It's such a great time to be a comic book video game YouTuber, because it's been shit for the last few years. But now people actually care. There's actually good stuff going on, so... Yeah, but thank you, Michael Knight and Agatha Knight, for the memberships, man. And we are playing as Thor, fucking kids up. How do I dodge? Oh, okay. Playing as Thor is so fun in this game. This game is just great. Like, I'm really enjoying this game. Holy shit, look at this. I'm just fucking sniping. This is literally Call of Duty. Holy shit. I'm just gonna... I was just hiding behind cover, popping out, throwing my fucking thing. Oh shit, I need to get... Oh wait. Whoa. Literally fucking 360 no-scoping these kids. This shit is hilarious. And I thought it was fantastic the way it switched between all the other characters. At first, we're saving a civilian as Thor, then we're in a flight pursuit with Iron Man, then we have a boss fight with Taskmaster with QTEs as Black Widow fighting against Taskmaster. All of that was fantastic. And you cut onto the ship, you're Captain America trying to basically prevent this atomic bomb type thing from going off. The boss fight with Taskmaster is actually really good. The shooting mechanics with Black Widow are fantastic, and it's fun switching between all the characters so that the gameplay never gets stale. I love the idea that Kamala Khan actually got her powers from the A-Day event, and that it had this rippling effect, and the United States government turned on the Avengers, and there was a 5-year time jump after the A-Day. I thought all that was fantastic. I was so hooked after the A-Day mission. After that, we go into a jungle mission where you're playing as the Hulk and you're invading an enemy facility. This is where it started to falter for me a little bit. Kamala Khan is incredibly annoying, and when I say incredibly annoying, I mean really fucking annoying. She talks every 2 seconds, the voice actress sounds like a 12-year-old, and the dialogue is incredibly cringy. Her whole pitch is that she's like a fangirl of the Avengers and does fan art and cosplay for them. So it's literally like some E3 fangirl of the Avengers who is now an Avenger. Now, on one level, the concept kind of works because it's like she is our POV as we are trying to reassemble the Avengers, and we, as the viewer who are also massive fans of the Avengers, are kind of following through her POV, through her lens. But it just doesn't work. The voice acting alongside the dialogue is not great. There's a line where Thor is saving a civilian in the A-Day mission, and the civilian is like, "Oh, thank you so much for saving me, Thor," and Thor is like,
"Are you hurt?"
"No, just stuck."
What the fuck? I'm pressing square.
Lucky for you, I am mighty.
Thank you, Thor.
That line is cringe. Thankful for you, I am mighty. Interesting. The dialogue isn't terrible, and I will say that Kamala Khan provides a nice contrast to the Avengers, who are hyper serious, and even Troy Baker, who plays Hulk, is very serious, and he's using his own personal voice, Troy Baker is. And I think that she provides a nice energetic contrast to them, but they just need to tone it back a little bit and improve her dialogue and the writing. With that being said, though, the story shows a lot of promise. Even both of those missions are really, really good. The Hulk mission, when you are in the warehouse, I thought that was all really well done. The combat gets a bit repetitive with fighting the robots over and over again, but as soon as you get into the boss fights with Abomination, that stuff is a nice change of pace from what you're typically and have traditionally done in the game. I think where Marvel's Avengers shines is when you have those controlled cutscenes where Hulk is running through and it's almost like a cinematic type cutscene piece, and same thing with A-Day when you have these QTE scenes, and even the structured boss fights. Where it is weakest, I think, is when you are fighting wave after wave after wave of enemy robots. The only difference between the robots is basically the health that they have. So some robots are really, really big and they have extra health. Some of them shoot at you, some of them punch you. But ultimately, you're just punching robots over and over again. And when you're playing a character like the Hulk, it is fun, but after a bit, it gets quite laborious. And you find that as the game progresses, basically the robots get more and more health. You get a few more abilities, but ultimately the gameplay stays fairly similar. One of the biggest issues with the game as well is that the gameplay and controls are very similar, but the animations are only slightly different. So let me give you an example. So Thor, Captain America, and Hulk can all throw objects at people. Obviously, Cap throws his shield, Thor throws his hammer, and Hulk throws a piece of rock that he takes out of the ground, right? So you have these projectile objects, and it's using L2 to aim and R2 to throw, and ultimately those gameplay dynamics are exactly the same no matter which character you're playing. The only difference is the animation of what exactly you throw and the mechanics of it. Now, it is slightly different because with Thor and Captain America, there is that rebounding effect. When you recall your shield, recall your hammer, and ultimately you can hit people when it's coming on the way back, whereas with Hulk, you're just throwing rocks at people. I get that. There's a slight difference there. But is there really, though? It's kind of the same thing. It's like the same exact characters, and the animations are just slightly different, and they're slight tweaks upon one another. I don't know if this is a bad thing. I don't know if I'm advising against this, and perhaps as we unlock more abilities and character traits that can customize the characters further, I wouldn't complain about this, but it is just something to note. The other thing is I did find myself getting sick of the gameplay with each character pretty quickly. Now, I think upgrading the characters does help. You get new abilities, new moves, and other fun things to do with the characters. That is fantastic. It helps keep the gameplay fresh. But, you know, after a while, punching people with Hulk, you know, you can crush hundreds and hundreds of robots. It's not like I experienced with other superhero games like Batman Arkham Knight, where I feel like the combat never gets old. With this game, I feel like it does get pretty old kind of quickly, and people warn me of that. People are like, yeah, you're going to get sick of the gameplay in an hour or two. And I was skeptical I wasn't, and it does wear on you a little bit. I don't mean to be overly negative. I had a lot of fun with the game, and I ended up playing it with Evan and other members of the Spidey Squad. That was a fun time. I really did enjoy that, and grouping up with people, it makes it a lot more fun doing the multiplayer missions. Holy shit, do you see how many people there are over here?
There's a lot. I'm over in a different area right now trying to
It's like literally frame rate lagging right now.
I know.
No, yeah, that's happening. We have a lot of but that's been massively reported, so I'm pretty sure when we have the open beta next weekend, that'll be fixed. But
Like,
also, I think it's got-
holy shit.
I just hope the main game.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure. Well, I think what it is that a lot of people did last minute pre-orders, so it fucked like the server connection, and also like there's a lot of frame rate issues as well.
However, they ultimately are just capture the flag type missions. They really need to level up what you're doing and what the objective is in the mission. For instance, imagine if they actually borrowed comic book plot lines, if they borrowed mini-series arcs and even had 1 hour mini DLCs where the side missions actually take an hour to take place. You gear up with your friends and play the DLCs that way. And it's a more complicated thing. There's actually dialogue and cutscenes, and it's just a higher quality. Whereas here it's like, oh, you're going to go capture this objective. 100 robots will run at you, you beat up all the robots, and then you capture the flag and you win. Now, the boss fights are pretty interesting, and I do like the fact that with each mission, there is increased difficulty with the progression as you progress further into the game. However, there was a mission when I was playing with Evan where I was trying to beat these robots, and they just had an insane amount of health, and I was literally getting to the point where I was hiding from the enemy because I had no health. You can watch my frustration here. No way, I'm the only one left?
Wait, Tori, what happened to Tori? What's going? Wait,
He got down.
really?
Yeah. I don't
It
know where
doesn't
he is,
show
though.
It doesn't show
There
that
he
he's
is. Oh,
down.
Kobe. Oh no. Come here to save.
Question mark?
Oh.
Fuck.
Dude, I'm Hulk. How do I die in 2 shots? I don't get it.
So this one's much
Devon
easier.
said, you guys aren't leveled up yet, which is why you lost that mission.
Yes.
I
but
get that. It
we're
just
together.
seems stupid. I don't understand. Like,
I just feel like the enemy difficulty, like and like I said, I like how the game's challenging. I just feel like they just overcompensate with the AI like capability in each mission. Like it just jumps and it's like, whoa, what the hell?
dude,
It's
it's
like-
literally like I could not 1v1 a robot. Like
As the
that's
Yeah,
like
that's
in the
ridiculous.
Batman Arkham games. Like imagine if you landed as Batman and you can't even beat up one thug, and then it's like, oh well, you're not leveled up yet, bro. Like, duh, of course you can't win. Of course you can't beat up anybody. And it's like, I'm fucking Hulk. I should be able to beat up one robot. I don't care what level I am.
Yeah.
I literally
No,
would
yeah.
I literally would punch them over and over again. Their health bar would barely go down. They would shoot me twice and I'd be dead. It was like nothing I could do. So stupid. And there's nothing you can explain that makes that make sense to me.
Yeah, no.
There's
No, I completely agree with you on that.
And I'm on fire apparently, so that's not good.
My frame rate is on fire. This shit is unbelievably like.
PS5, please give me your price point so I can just
There we go.
see
Are
your
you down?
income all those rooms.
I'm already down.
I'm reviving him, don't worry, I got him. Yeah, I got you.
Whoa, let me back up before I freaking.
How did I die?
I got you.
I'm using my abilities right away.
Dodge everything. We're
What
all
the fuck?
dead. Wait,
I'm
what?
back.
Hold on.
I'm back.
I'm dead.
It's the outdoors, man.
Where's the other enemies? Are they all just in that one area? Yeah, they're all ambushing us. Okay, let me try and go to where Tony is to take on this guy. Oh, snap. Wait, can I jump over him?
Shield?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got rid of your shield. You Dunzo. You gargle.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay. And Josh, as a tip, press and hold circle near the shield guys to jump over them. That way they will never hit you if you keep doing that. Oh, I'm like me, where I just got shot dead.
Oh my god! That motherfucker just.
Oh my god, Kobe's the only one alive.
What?
Oh, man, we're all dead.
No way.
I just realized.
Dude,
how
this
come we
game
were
is
back in this
absurd.
With
It really
the
is.
power level differences, it's very
it's
odd that they
unforgivable.
can't, oh, these soldiers are powerful than the Avengers, like.
Yeah, how the fuck does that work? How are these random
Black Widow,
robots
Kamala
and
Khan, I
soldiers?
get, but for Hulk and Iron Man, like.
Bro, I literally got shot in the side by a laser beam and died instantly.
No,
Like, how
what
is
I will
Hulk
say,
dying
like,
to this? Now, I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, Slick, you suck, you didn't level up enough, you're not good at the game, or you didn't have the gear that you need. But the fact of it is, there should not be a situation where I am the Hulk and I fight any enemies and I cannot beat them up. That's why this is a different game from Destiny. With Destiny or even Suicide Squad, you can explain that away. You can be like, yeah, these robots, they're more powerful than Harley Quinn. Okay, whatever. In this game, when I'm playing as the Hulk, when I'm playing as Iron Man, when I'm playing as Thor, and I can't beat up a robot, I'm literally getting 1v1'd by an AI robot machine. That makes zero sense. It does not matter. That's why this game, fundamentally, the model is broken with the Destiny looting type of model because we're not using guns. We're not just regular guys equipped with guns. We're not just a crazy chick with a baseball bat like with Suicide Squad. We're freaking Hulk. We're freaking Iron Man. So that means that they need to shift this away from just fighting waves of robots to actually having challenges that require the team to work together in unique ways and having some boss fights as opposed to these swarms of robot enemies. They just get laborious after a while, and it ultimately is not fulfilling gameplay. Now, I do like the way that cooperation works between players. I think they should do more with dual play takedowns, kind of like they did with the Batman Arkham games than they currently do. But they really do a good job with making it fun to play with friends. There is a feature where if someone is getting too far ahead in the mission, then everyone kind of catches up with them. So they do a good job at making sure everyone stays together, and it is a collaborative team-based game. I think that the collaboration that needs to happen between players needs to be emphasized more and be more in the objective of the game, wherein you literally cannot win if you do not collaborate. What we were basically doing in the capture the flag portions of the game is like, oh, I was sitting on B, everyone was sitting on A, whatever, and we all split up and played capture the flag and defended the objectives that we needed to defend, and ultimately we won, and it was kind of like a divide and conquer thing. It should more be that you have to play to the specific strengths and weaknesses of each character in fighting these unique enemy types and challenges that change every single time. Ultimately, it's just lazy to load robots in every single mission, and so they're really going to need to find a way to differentiate those missions. I really think it's important for fans to signal why this game is not working for us fully when it comes to the multiplayer aspects of it. Now, I do like the game. I enjoy the game. I, in fact, might even enjoy it more than Evan and other people. I'm with Salvage, and I'm with other people that are like, yeah, the game is fun, I enjoy playing it. I am certainly in that camp as well. I just think that it is not as good as it can be, and that's why I'm being sort of harsh and critical of it. It's not because I think the game is bad. It's not because I'm not excited to play it next weekend, because I am. Rather, it's that I think that there are things with the game that are frustrating and can be improved upon if they have a little bit more attention put on them. I know that they're going to go balls to the wall with the skins and the customization, the loot crates, but I implore them to not focus on that stuff yet. Do not give any attention to that stuff for at least 6 months, because you need to be focusing fully on making this the best superhero video game of all time. And the fact of it is, the Square Enix CEO has been on record bragging that Batman Arkham Knight is going to be outsold by this game, and that Spider-Man PS4 is going to be outsold by this game. That this will be the highest selling superhero video game of all time. And that's obviously not going to be the case at this rate. Now, in the long run, if they manage to give this game legs like a Sea of Thieves, like a Rainbow Six, then I certainly can see that, because Batman games and Spider-Man PS4, they're basically an upfront sell. You know, they're really banking on the story. If they can make this a fantastic multiplayer Avengers video game, then certainly it could be the highest selling video game of all time, but at this rate, it's not going to get there. And I think it's important to level their expectations so that they're not surprised on release day and they're like, oh shit, this game actually sold terribly. I think this game is not going to sell well. I really, really am confident this game is not going to sell well. And I don't mean that to be mean. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings at Square Enix or whatever. I just think that they're going to be in for a big surprise when they see those sales projections figures, because even though this is an Avengers game, and this is inherently going to have legs because it is, of course, an Avengers game. They're using that IP. And there's a lot of young people that they don't even care if the game is good or not. You know, that demographic that plays Lego video games. But ultimately, for us older fans, we're feeling like this is just a glorified Lego game at this point. We really, in fact, need to be modeling something like Insomniac or Batman Arkham to get that level of gameplay fidelity, that much of gameplay depth in terms of abilities, gadgets, tools, and other things to really differentiate the players from one another. Because, as once again my friend Jake pointed out in his review, he was already, by that 45 minutes into the game, on that second mission, getting sick of Hulk gameplay. Because, yeah, it is pretty repetitive, and you get these new unlocks to have these new flares and abilities on the gameplay, but the gameplay fundamentally is the same. Not just in Hulk, but across the other players. The animations are just different for what those controls do. So what they really need to be angling, actually, making Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and these other characters play completely differently, such that their animations and otherwise have huge learning curves, and we have this huge incentive to learn who they are. Because here's the thing, the players, they play too similarly to one another. It's like, if I know how to play Hulk, I more or less know how to play every character in the game. It's just going to be slightly different how they operate. What it should be is something like Overwatch, whereas Black Widow, if you're really good with Black Widow, that does not mean that you are good with anyone else. It needs to be like an Overwatch type of model where the characters, they play completely differently. The only similarity is that the left analog stick moves and the right analog stick aims. Otherwise, it's not like they are just, covering up for one another. Some characters have guns, some don't. Some have other abilities, and their L1s and R1s and their ultimate abilities are all completely different. They kind of differentiated in this game with the Buster armor for Iron Man being the bonus ability. That's a nice touch, and I do like that. That's a great way to lean more towards Overwatch. But I just mean to say that you want the gameplay to be as fleshed out as Batman is in Batman Arkham or Spider-Man is in Spider-Man PS4. And right now, they're just not. It's closer to a Lego game in terms of the gameplay mechanics and how they're fleshed out than a Batman Arkham or a Spider-Man PS4. And the thing is, they just announced that Spider-Man is coming to the game, and it's like, okay, cool, but also imagine how shitty the gameplay is going to be for playing Spider-Man in this game versus Spider-Man PS4. I mean, it's literally going to be such a huge step back with the web swinging and the gameplay fidelity with the combat, utilizing that free-flow combat system. I mean, it is fantastic in Spider-Man PS4 from 2018, excuse me. And the fact of it is, the gameplay in this game, it is a lot of copy and paste. It's not that transformative, and it has a lot of work that it needs to undergo. Now, they have a fantastic voice cast for the game and a promising start to the plot. I actually really like the idea that Kamala Khan was affected by the A-Day, and the fact of it is she is still a fan of the Avengers. She's still a fangirl, even though the Avengers kind of screwed up on A-Day and gave her these superpowers and abilities, and maybe as time goes on, she's going to come to resent the Avengers a bit more as she finds they might be unappreciative of the work that she's doing to assemble them back together. I just really, really like the whole pitch and promise of this plot. I think it is fantastic. Okay, I also need to talk about the technical aspects of this game, because holy shit, is this game a pile of shit as far as that is concerned. At least in the beta. And to be fair, even in Call of Duty betas and pretty much every beta, there are always disasters with the servers and the frame rate and lagging and glitching. So I actually don't think that this is a reflection of the game itself. So I'm being kind of facetious here, but okay. So first, I couldn't advance in the campaign and do the snowy Eastern European Russian mission thing because it wasn't loading. It kept giving me the same error over and over again, and it wouldn't let me connect to the servers no matter what I did. And it was like 30 minutes of just trying to get in one single match, which was incredibly frustrating. That was my first experience into the multiplayer mode. And then when I was playing with Evan, it was frame rate hell. Literally, it was lagging so bad. Anytime we got in a fight, I just couldn't even understand what was going on. There were so many characters on screen, so many fucking robots, and I just can't even see what the hell is going on. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just spamming square. And I think that when people complain about the game saying that it is just a button masher, it really is more just that you can't see what's going on because the frame rate drops to 3 or 4. You literally have no idea what is happening, so you have no choice what to do besides just smash square. It's not awful by any means, it's just something to be cognizant of, I think, and there definitely is work that needs to be done there. But those are more technical things that they can resolve. I think the systemic things regard the gameplay and the multiplayer. The multiplayer really isn't because they don't have any time to change the single player. Obviously, it comes out in, less than a month. There are no changes that can really be made to the single player in any way. And Kamala Khan could grow on us, and all the voice dialogue is already recorded and everything, so the story is done and ready to go. Let's talk about multiplayer, because that's the only thing that can be changed. There are a few small things they can fix, like we should be able to see our teammates through walls, so I constantly know where my allies are, without needing to press up on the D-pad, but I can just rather always see through the walls. Secondly, the team AI needs to be a lot better. They are absolutely useless, whether that be Kamala Khan in the opening mission of the game, or when you're actually playing with a ally doing one of those online missions. AI is just really, really bad. It is not good in any way. One of the biggest struggles with this game is that what they need to fix is one of the transformative gameplay elements. Like one of the main gameplay elements of this game, which is fighting the robots as these heroes. They need to improve that a lot. They need to get a lot better with that. There better be a lot of boss fights in the full game, and I think that they need to do more to evolve the gameplay for each individual character, and also making unique character types. Now, these could be our base characters that play kind of similarly, and then we get into someone like Hawkeye, who, of course, now we can't see, who might play more like Black Widow and be totally different than someone like Hulk, and I really hope that that is the case, because right now, I'm seeing a lot of familiarity between the characters and their moves. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section below. Let's try to get this video to 2,000 likes. I appreciate all the support on all of the recent videos, trying to get to 100K subs by the end of the year. So let's see if we can do that, and I'd really appreciate it if we can get there. So be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, like the video, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.